Hello, everyone, and welcome. Justice Amy Coney Barrett is about to be sworn in at the White House in the, looks like the South Lawn there. People are socially distanced, but there are dozens of people going to be gathered there tonight. Meanwhile, please don't have your family around for Thanksgiving. Seriously, don't have your family over for Thanksgiving. If they're not in your household, don't have them in. Don't gather. Don't be with other people. If you can do it outside, if you can socially distance, that's fine. However, the last time the White House had something outside like this, it was the nomination of Amy Coney Barrett some 14 minutes ago, and several people present there that we know of ended up catching COVID. Many more probably did. We don't know. They wouldn't have had to report it. So what I'm going to do is, it is behind right now. These things usually start late. So for a few minutes, I'm going to leave you guys to chat. And then when things get going here, or when I'm ready, because I'm just eating my dinner right now and I don't want you guys to have to watch that. So I will send you guys to chat heaven, and then we'll be back with Kevin.
They generate them, tells you what their preference is. They'd rather get the judge done. McConnell would rather get the judge done, and we understand why politically, in terms of the historicity, in terms of the impact. That'll last decades. So McConnell says, no relief bill. It's not going to happen, White House. I'm going to get this done. Think about the preference. Now, I'm not saying one matters and one.
LindseyGraham.com. These people want it, man. My opponents raised $109 million, the most in the United States.
So Hannity has pretty much become just a Lindsey Graham fundraiser. We tune in. I'm like, oh, Lindsey's on Hannity. That might be interesting. So we click in, and he's immediately asking for money. This is how it works now.
History of the United States Senate. Let's all fight back together.
Let's back up a little bit. Actually, no, let's watch it from here. Let's see what happens.
But let's celebrate tonight. President Trump, you put 3 great conservative justices on the court, 250 judges in the first term.
Conservatives need to understand what court packing would mean, what D.C., Puerto Rico statehood would mean.
Oh, my God.
What all of these paragraphs, by the way, we've been given the 1 minute, the White House swearing in of Amy Coney Barrett. The swearing in will be done by Justice Clarence Thomas. By the way, if you never read his book, My Grandfather's Son, it's a great book. I still tell everybody all the time. But all of this, higher taxes, amnesty. When I say this is the tipping point of all tipping point elections, you're right. It's your race. It's Tillis. It's Joni Ernst. It's Martha McSally. It's Cory Gardner. It's Perdue. It is even Mitch McConnell.
All of us.
Even Susan Collins, who I disagreed with on this vote. It is all in the balance because they will do this. What would that mean to the country?
They will go from... Okay, number one, they're going to take the number 9 and expand it to probably 13 to wipe out the conservative majority. They'll pack it with liberals. That means the court loses its independence. They'll do away with the legislative filibuster. They're going to do away with the electoral college, which means New York and California pick the president in perpetuity. Iowa, South Carolina, and Arizona won't count anymore. They're going to have open borders and free health care for illegal immigrants. All of them raise their hand. They will turn this country from a free enterprise nation to a socialist nation, from a law and order nation to chaos. They will reward the most radical agenda in the history of the country that's trying to take us all out. Now, we got a chance here to make history. Can you imagine 4 more years
Lindsey,
of President Trump?
Music means the First Lady is just
the big guy. The big guy.
They're playing that music. That means the president is entering. Let's go live to the swearing-in ceremony.
Everyone can swear all they want. How old is Clarence Thomas, and why doesn't he have a mask on? Literally completely incapable of learning.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Distinguished guests and my fellow citizens. This is a momentous day for America, for the United States Constitution, and for the fair and impartial rule of law. The Constitution is the ultimate defense of American liberty. The faithful application of the law is the cornerstone of our republic. That is why, as president, I have no more solemn obligation and no greater honor than to appoint Supreme Court judge.
No, I'm sorry, but as president, your most solemn obligation is calling the family of soldiers who've died for our country. You're enjoying this. You're reveling in this. He doesn't know what the word solemn means. He's reading it off a teleprompter. Wouldn't it be nice to have a president who didn't have to read off a Hold on, I'm screwing the words up. Wouldn't it be... Oh, let me try one try. Wouldn't it be...
Justices.
Justices.
On this October evening, and it is so beautiful, the First Lady and I...
Just like, what? On this October evening is what the teleprompter says. But he has to say it's beautiful. It's an evening like we've never seen before. The sky is there. The weather is also here in a way that few people thought was possible. When I said we were going to do it in October, there were people, the Democrats, tried to control the weather, tried to make it too warm. I'm wearing a jacket.
I welcome you to the White House to bear witness to history. In a few moments, we will proudly swear in the newest member of the United States Supreme Court, Justice Amy Coney Barrett. She is one of our nation's most brilliant legal scholars, and she will make an outstanding justice on the highest court in our land. Justice Barrett's oath will be administered by the court's longest-serving member, currently on the bench, a man whose allegiance to the law has earned him the respect and gratitude of all Americans, Justice Clarence Thomas. Our country owes a great debt of thanks to Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. We appreciate it very much, Mitch. Thank you. And we are grateful as well to the Senate Judiciary Chairman, Lindsey Graham. Thank you, Lindsey. Also with us, Senators Marsha Blackburn, Mike Braun, Bill Cassidy, Kevin Cramer, Ted Cruz, Steve Daines, Ron Johnson, James Lankford, Mike Lee, and Martha McSally. And I hope I didn't leave anybody out.
Well, you're reading it from a teleprompter, so I hope so too.
And a very special thanks to our great Vice President, Mike Pence. Thank you, Mike.
Is he there?
Also, I want to thank White House counsel Pat Cipollone. Thank you, Pat. And very important.
Yeah, typically it's the Chief Justice who swears in the new justices. Clarence is not is not the Chief Justice.
Importantly, I want to welcome Justice Barrett's husband, Jesse. Thank you, Jesse. Thank you. Let me also recognize your 7 children, your great, beautiful children who have become really very, very popular in this nation. People have been watching them and loving them, and they're watching right now back home in Indiana. Thank you very much. But I speak to everyone when I say that the Barrett family has captured America's heart. It is highly fitting.
You mean you're speaking to everyone or for everyone? Because that's one of those speaking for. I speak for everyone when I say that children have captured America's. That's okay to say, but you're speaking to everyone? Yeah. You're on television with a microphone. I know I speak for myself when I say
that Justice Barrett fills the seat of a true pioneer for women. It's Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Tonight, Justice Barrett becomes not only the 5th woman to serve on our nation's highest court.
Did he just say women? The 5th women?
But I speak to everyone when I say that the Barrett family is captured. Over the past few weeks, the entire
I missed it. Sorry.
Pioneer for women. It's Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Tonight, Justice Barrett becomes not only the 5th woman to serve on our nation's highest court, but the very first mother of school-aged children to become a Supreme Court justice. Very important.
You said women.
Over the past few weeks, the entire world has seen Justice Barrett's deep knowledge, tremendous poise, and towering intellect. She answered questions for hours on end. Throughout her entire confirmation, her impeccable credentials were unquestioned, unchallenged, and obvious to all. Justice Barrett earned a full academic scholarship to Notre Dame Law School, graduated first in her class, and served as a clerk for Justice Antonin Scalia. She was a beloved professor at Notre Dame Law School for 15 years before I very proudly appointed her to the U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals for the 7th women to serve on our nation's highest court, 2017, but the very first mother of school profoundly impressed to learn of her achievements, her compassion, her generosity, her faith, and her sterling character. Justice Barrett made clear she will issue rulings based solely upon a faithful reading of the law and the Constitution as written, not legislate from the bench. The equal, impartial, and constitutional rule of law that we enjoy every day in America is one of the crowning achievements in the history of human civilization. It is the triumph of reason, experience, and the values which are eternal and everlasting. Our devotion to this inheritance is what has made America the most just, exceptional, and glorious nation ever to exist. I want every American child watching to understand that this is a very special and important ceremony.
How many children are watching this besides hers?
We are fulfilling the duty that passes to each new generation to sustain the national traditions and virtues that make possible everything we have achieved before that. We will do tomorrow because of our Constitution and our culture of freedom. You live in a land where anything is possible and where any dream can come true. No matter who you are, no matter your background, in America, everyone is entitled to equal protection.
Well, no, like a woman can't play in the National Basketball Association. That's just a dream that can't come true. I'm just saying.
Under our laws. and your sacred rights can never, ever be taken away. The March of Liberty that began with the American Revolution
I was going to say it's the coloring, but then she looks like a human being, so.
continues onward this evening. Tonight at the White House, we carry forward the cause of freedom, equality, and justice for which so many generations of Americans have given so much. We honor the cause for which men died to win the Civil War and for which they jumped out of airplanes and shed their blood on distant battlefields. We honor the immortal principles inspired millions in the struggle for civil rights, and we take special pride in the nation that inspires billions of people all over the world. We must never take this radiant inheritance for granted. We must never lose confidence in our history, our heritage, or in our heroes. To reach for the stars, we must stand upon the strong and sturdy foundation built by those incredible Americans who came before. Justice Barrett, as you take your oath tonight, the legacy of our ancestors falls to you. The American people put their trust in you and their faith in you as you take up the task of defending our laws, our Constitution, and this country that we all love. We ask God to give you wisdom and courage. I know you will make us all very, very proud as long as we are loyal to our founding and to our fellow citizens. America's future will be bright, America's destiny will be great, and America's people will forever and always be free. I now ask Justice Thomas to administer the oath. Thank you very much.
I do solemnly swear
I, Amy Coney Barrett, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support.
None of them has a mask. None of them is farther than 6 feet from the other one. 6 feet, imagine a hockey stick, full length, plus another foot. That's 6 feet. Turn Trump sideways. That's less than 6 feet, but he thinks he's 6'2". Put him in his kitten heels. That's 6 feet. None of them are farther away than 6 feet from each other. Nobody's wearing a mask.
And defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely,
that I take this obligation freely,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I'm about to enter. So help me God.
So help me God.
Hold on, can you have her add in there and to help Trump win the election if it comes to it? I mean, I don't know if it will, but I'm making sure that it will. So if that is a possibility, can she just say that as well? You can take your hand off the Bible. I mean, what you want to do is hold the Bible up, take a picture with it. But anyway, if you could just have her add that in, it's no big deal. It's no big deal at all. Everybody here, can we, is that okay with everybody here? Okay, great. Can we ever do that? This is such a proud moment for me. Your favorite president, President Trump. I'm not a big ego guy, but
Thank you. Thank you so very much. Thank you all for being here tonight. And thank you, President Trump, for selecting me to serve as an Associate Justice of the United States Supreme Court. It's a privilege to be asked to serve my country in this office, and I stand here tonight truly honored and humbled. Thanks also to the Senate for giving its consent to my appointment. I am grateful for the confidence you have expressed in me, and I pledge to you and to the American people that I will discharge my duties to the very best of my ability. This was a rigorous confirmation process, and I thank all of you, especially Leader McConnell and Chairman Graham, for helping me to navigate it. My heartfelt thanks go to the members of the White House staff and Department of Justice who worked tirelessly to support me through this process. Your stamina is remarkable, and I have been the beneficiary of it. Jesse and I...
Highest court of the land, she's never tried a case. She's never been an actual judge in an actual case. She's been an appellate court judge, which you could argue is the Supreme Court. It would be the highest appellate court judge in the land, but she's never been a judge like you would stand in front of a judge and plead your case. Never done it, but she's in charge of 350 million Americans.
I are also so grateful to the many people who have supported our family over these last several weeks. Through ways both tangible and intangible, you have made this day possible. Jesse and I have been truly awestruck by your generosity. I have spent a good amount of time over the last month at the Senate, both in meetings with individual senators and in days of hearings before the Senate Judiciary Committee. The confirmation process has made ever clearer to me one of the fundamental differences between the federal judiciary and the United States Senate. And perhaps the most acute is the role of policy preferences. It is the job of a senator to pursue her policy preferences. In fact, it would be a dereliction of duty for her to put policy goals aside. By contrast, it is the job of a judge to resist her policy preferences. It would be a dereliction of duty for her to give in to them. Federal judges don't stand for election. Thus, they have no basis for claiming that their preferences reflect those of the people. This separation of duty from political preference is what makes the judiciary distinct among the three branches of government. A judge declares independence not only from Congress and the President, but also from the private beliefs that might otherwise move her. The judicial oath captures the essence of the judicial duty. The rule of law must always control. My fellow Americans, even though we judges don't face elections, we still work for you. It is your Constitution that establishes the rule of law and the judicial independence that is so central to it. The oath that I have solemnly taken tonight means at its core that I will do my job without any fear or favor, and that I will do so independently of both the political branches and of my own preferences. I love the Constitution and the democratic republic that it establishes, and I will devote myself to preserving it. Thank you.
Hamilton said the Supreme Court was established, and I mean, this was a common understanding at the time. The Supreme Court was established not so that they could impose their own will upon the people, but that so they could withstand political pressure of the day. But through time and memoriam for the last 240 plus years, the Supreme Court has always erred on the side of, not always, I shouldn't say always, has mostly erred on, especially under Berger and moving forward, the side of what do the people want in this circumstance and does it fit into the Constitution? Not what I feel about this because I never have to run for election. That is the wrong viewpoint to take as a Supreme Court justice. Just my opinion. I could be a Supreme Court justice. Anybody here could be a Supreme Court justice. I think you might have to be 35. I don't even know. But you don't even have to have a law degree to be a Supreme Court justice. David Mickelson says, what if Biden tries to pack the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court rules against it? That's an excellent question. It won't matter. No, I don't think that there could be a case brought up before the Supreme Court. It was looked at, could we force the Senate to hear the Supreme Court or the Merrick Garland hearings in 2016? And no one could figure out how to. You have to have a standing in the court, and you have to make your way through the courts. Standing is this will affect me directly. And unfortunately, I'm a United States citizen, and this could affect me directly somehow. You have to actually be a plaintiff in a case that's going before the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court has a safeguard, of course, that in a tie, the lower court ruling stands. So the Supreme Court it doesn't have to have an odd number of members. So there was no case that they could bring. Nobody was clever enough to figure out a way to get a case in front of the Supreme Court for them to rule, yes, we need a ninth justice. And there's nothing in the Constitution that says that. There's nothing in the Constitution that says, for example, Pete Buttigieg had ideas about, well, a third of them should be 8-year term, a third of them should be another 8-year term, some of them should be 12-year or whatever. Say, yeah, just set limits on it so there's no political pressure to them. You are nominated for 10 years. You're going to serve for 10 years. And every president gets a certain number. And that way the people actually get to, through the president by election, get to decide who's going. But Trump essentially tried to establish that already by releasing his lists. Of course, on his original list, none of the 3 judges that he's nominated were on that list. So his original list of originalists was meaningless, as are all things Trump. Well, you should tell her today we lost some of our freedom. They value freedom and liberty. Today, a judge was sworn in that will likely take away our freedom and liberty. And once you take away an inch of freedom, the mile of tyranny is close behind. Fun fact, Clarence Thomas's wife, Virginia Thomas, is a political activist who works with groups that push bogus right-wing claims about voter fraud. That is true, David. Are we just going to God bless our America out of here? While this is playing, if Trump loses, how many thinks he's actually going to finish his term? He's going to stick around till the very end. Oh my God, people are actually wearing masks.
All right.
No, it's fine because Biden will pack the court. I mean, that's what you do. There'll be a commission to study for 180 days of scholars or whatever. But it's 9 to nothing right now. It's not 9 to nothing. It's 6-3 now on the Supreme Court in terms of conservative. Kennedy, you can put him over in the other court. So really, it's 5-4. Most Supreme Court decisions are 9-0 anyway. But they're, the few that matter that we really care about, those tend to be one side or the other.
That concludes the swearing in now of what is the 103rd Associate Justice of the United States Supreme Court.
Where are you going?
There they go.
Tomorrow.
We don't need to hear Hannity any more than we already have. So that's that, kids. So now that's done. Good. We can move on. People are like, oh, the American electorate are going to be so upset that this was pushed through. Are they going to do an Evita? Okay, this is just a photo op, I guess. There's no microphone set up, so they're not going to say anything. They're just going to stand there with the flags, without masks. What if she gets it? I mean, it's still going around the White House. 5 of the vice president's advisors have it. His chief of staff has it. Probably more have it and haven't been tested. But this was a foregone conclusion since the day she was nominated. I mean, since the day RBG died. The minute RBG... Sorry, I didn't know the minute. Once I found out that RBG died, of course, all of us thought, oh, great, here we go. This is the third justice for Trump. And it was. And this shows you the complete... I'm trying to think of a word that doesn't have any sexual connotation for being completely useless of the people in the Senate who don't have the power. David Mickelson says, remember how bitterly Republicans claimed the PPACA was shoved down their throats, jammed down there. It was jammed, David, and they jammed down their throats. And they still, to this day, think that Nancy said, we don't know what's in it until we've passed it. All of these people in government who don't understand how government works. Would anybody like me to explain that, why that's just a complete fallacy? I can. It's pretty simple. It's Schoolhouse Rock type of stuff, but a vibrator without battery. No, non-sexual is what I was going for. Flaccid comes to mind, but that's a little too sexual. Here's Lindsay. Let's see if we can have Lindsay ask for some more money here.
Times presidents have nominated justices. Thank you, Lindsay, for being with us. You just witnessed history in the making. Judge Amy Coney Barrett confirmed as the newest U.S. Supreme Court justice. The originalist judge will now be the 3rd Trump appointee to serve on the court. And tonight we are only 8 days away from what is the biggest tipping point election in history. Buckle up. This is just the beginning of what will be a very pivotal week. The president hitting the campaign trail harder than ever before. Earlier today, he held 3 massive rallies. Tomorrow, he will be in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Nebraska.
The first one was not massive. The second one had empty bleachers. Not that it matters. The bottom line is you got to win the vote. And we will see that as time goes by. Okay, kids, I think I'm going to check out now. I don't know. I might come back later tonight and cover the rally a bit. I'm going to try and put together a Lost in Trumpslation. I'm going to see if I have enough stuff from the rallies that I haven't included yet to throw stuff in there. If you heard something in the 3rd rally today that was funny, let me know. Shoot me a DM or something, and I'll stick that in there. Maybe I'll start watching the 3rd rally. Maybe if I'm up later tonight, I'll do something like that. But there's lots to do. Yeah, but this is all temporary. This is all temporary. I may lose my health care in what? They're hanging on the 10th. So 10th, so 16 days. 16 days I might lose my health care. And it's all a foregone conclusion. But the nice part is, if I lose my health care, there's a Trump plan ready to go. It's in a really thick book that didn't have any actual medical plans in it, but there's a thick book that is there. The United States Supreme Court is set to hear a case brought forth by Republican generals, attorneys, and endorsed by the Department of Justice to essentially end Obamacare. I mean, it will. It's not essential. It will end Obamacare, saying that parts of Obamacare are unconstitutional. And it's probably ended January 1st. They have the power to continue it or to stay it if they want to push it forward. I don't know. There's just... It'll be interesting to see if the election, if it is overwhelming if there is a real blue wave and Joe gets in and he wins 40 states, etc., it'll be interesting to see if that sways the decision-making of the Supreme Court, because it's really supposed to be what the constitutionalists, the original Constitution writers, would have done in a situation, looking at how they viewed liberty, etc. And the whole abortion issue, it didn't exist. I mean, there were abortions, but as a question for early America, it wasn't. It was something that was done in the back alleys. Are there front alleys? And so the basic idea of the Bill of Rights having the illegal search and seizure of papers, etc., the right of privacy from the government for American citizens has been extended, and that's not even the amendment that was used for Roe v. Wade. But the idea that the government stays out of our private affairs, our papers has become, through the Supreme Court, has become ubiquitous for anything private, whether that be your emails or your telephone, etc. Now, of course, there's the caveat of you can't yell fire in a crowded theater. If you're a terrorist, they can look at your cell phone. That's okay. If there's an imminent threat, which then is superseded by earlier in the Constitution, where it says, hey, welfare of the people, that's your job, then Congress and the president have certain powers. So far. But everything can change over the course of a couple of years with the Supreme Court. And I wish somebody had said something about this in 2016. Really? Cyanide has no expiration date? That makes sense. Here's the thing about taking cyanide, though. You don't know what's going to happen next. And things turn around pretty quickly. I mean, who amongst us thought that Trump would actually end up getting elected? I mean, I did, but most people did not. Most people did not. No talks of suicide. That's enough. It's really not that bad. Only 6 people are recommended at Thanksgiving, but 30 are allowed for a funeral. I will be holding a funeral for my pet turkey. He will pass away on November 26th. That is sad. And I'll be there, 2 o'clock? Refreshments provided afterwards at the celebration of life. Here's the thing about Thanksgiving, and then I'm going to say goodbye. This whole 2 o'clock in the afternoon eating, hey, dinner will be at 2. No, dinner is never at 2. No wonder people eat too much on Thanksgiving, because you wake up, you're waiting, you're like, I got a big 2 o'clock, and 2 o'clock comes in, and then you get there, so you don't eat breakfast, and then eventually you do eat kind of a brunch. And then you don't eat lunch, so your body is usually eating at 12 or 1. Now it's an hour and a half late because you get there and the turkey's not ready, or could you do the potato salad? Now it's 3 o'clock and you eat at 3 o'clock, and then your body's hungry again at 9 o'clock at night, and you're like, well, I'm just going to have some of the stuffing and I'll make a sandwich and put some of that cranberry on there. We got to use the turkey, though. We got to, now you're having turkey sandwiches at 9:30 at night. That's not good for your body. I'm not Jewish. What does that have to do with anything? Is Thanksgiving only a Jewish thing now? I can't keep up. Dinner used to be the midday meal, supper in the evening. Well, it's America. Speak Englishing. Dinner is 5 p.m. on, and that's it. Before that, you got the happy hour. 11:30 to 1:30, lunchtime. Before that, brunch. And breakfast is anytime. Anytime you want to have breakfast, that's wide open. That's the one. That's the O positive of meals. Anytime. I don't know if there will be violent attacks. There will be people, crazy people, doing bad things on the 3rd. Here's the thing, though. The upside of the fact that we probably won't know, it's not a fact. The notion that we probably won't know who's going to be president at the end of the night on the 3rd, the upshot of that is that the longer it goes and more agonizing it is, the longer it goes, and the less vitriol is, the less trying to find exactly the right word, but I don't think that there is one. The anger that the right will feel, the gun lovers, etc., the Second Amendmenters, it will dissipate as time goes on. Oh, we got to do something. Oh, if Joe ends up winning, we got. And then it was like, if you remember 2000, where like 3 years later, it's like, oh, Al Gore's going to be president. No, he's not. Okay, who is? Bush? Well, okay. I mean, you kind of resign yourself to the fact that that's what's going to happen. We won't know. But if it's a contentious Supreme Court hearing where Amy Coney Barrett ends up being the deciding factor, I don't know if liberals will rebel. You know what they'll do? They'll go march. That changes everything. Marching and protesting might get Trump reelected. That's what I'm saying. I know you kids love your marches. I know it. Yay! When do we want it? Now. For the last 50 years. What do we want? We want justice. We just got Amy Coney Barrett shoved down our throats. Got to win elections, people. That's your job. Find somebody who hasn't voted. Make them vote, especially if they're in a swing state. Make this happen, kids. We will see you tomorrow.
Where are you going?
Kevin, thanks for that.
Things can only get better.